Namaskaram. Namaskaram, my dear friends. I am back. Okay, we need to talk about the mind. I think we need to talk about the mind because those people who are quote unquote labeled as smart or smart asses do not deserve all the credit that they have. It's just not right. So we're going to talk about the 4 parts of the mind in layman's term. So we may not all know this, but for those of you who know, bear with me. There are 4 parts of the mind. First is called Buddhi, next is called Manas, then Ahankara, then Chitta. So we will explain it in a more understandable term. First, let's start with Buddhi. So Buddhi, as Sadhguru labels it, he calls it intellect. But this is what I think is called, smartness or being smart. And some people are being called a smart ass because their brain just runs too fast. So let's think of it in computer terms. So Buddhi, I think, is technically your processor. So the faster your processor seems to function, seems to run, then other people with slower processors, they become really impressed. And usually those people who have really fast processors, either one, they're gifted, or they have maintained that faculty in their brain where it just really functions really fast. So if you have a very fast intellect, yes, you're smart. And when you use it against people who have slower intellect, and they are somehow against you, then you become a smartass. Buddhi, intellect, processor, smartness. Next, let's talk about manas. So manas is basically, how Sadhguru calls it, is your silo of memory. So I would say in computer terms, you call this data, raw data. Garbage in, garbage out, giggle. That's kind of true too. So the better raw data that you have, the better your data output will be. And then I feel like the key to actually having really, really good raw data, it has to be raw, is to actually collect these raw data, like being really careful in collecting raw data. And the way to do this is to pay absolute attention. Okay, I'm not gonna go into other forms of data that's been collected in our body, like the unconscious data or past lives memory data. Let's just deal with what we can deal with right now, which is our conscious data, the ones that we collect. Sometimes it becomes kind of unconscious, but we can still access it, and somehow it becomes conscious. So that raw data, collected properly by paying enough attention, paying close, focused, absolute attention, you'll get good quality raw data. So that's manas. Next is Ahankara. Very interesting, Ahankara. Sadhguru calls it ego or identity. I couldn't put it, in any other way. So you know what had just happened recently? The Super Bowl. And these people come and watch the games with limited identity. Limited identity meaning they become fans of one team or the other. Of course, because the Eagles lost, all their fans are somehow hiding in their caves because ooh, what face can they show because they lost the game, or some of them probably lose some money to the Chiefs fans. That happened to a friend of mine. But anyway, what I'm saying is because we can be so identified. That was just fun, losing $10 is fine. But if you look closely into it, if we become identified so much in something, then we somehow just create things or manifest things or curate things to our selected identity. So in computer terms, I would say Ahankara, identity, ego, is technically the user. So when you're somehow partial with a certain type of identity, then you just curate your surroundings and process your data based on that identity. For instance, I really love banana bread. Even if I have all the raw material there is to create carrot cake, nope, I will create banana bread. And let's just say I really love banana bread and someone introduced carrot cake to me. Because I'm so identified with loving banana bread, that even if carrot cake can taste good, but I'm nope, banana bread for life. So that is somehow really limiting because I close my doors on carrot cake. Carrot cake. So the goal here, guys, is to have your Ahankara to be as big as possible. Where it's not that you're not identified with anything. Okay, fine. You can be unidentified with anything at all. Or have your identity be really, really huge. Like identify with the whole earth, the whole cosmos. Or anything that could happen is technically a part of your identity. So nothing will go against you. I know that's, kind of hard to conceptualize, but kind of hard to unpack. But a lot of these things will make sense in the long run. This is introductory, okay? Okay, let's just talk about the fourth part of the mind, which is called Chitta. So Chitta is, in computer terms, not applicable. I would say not applicable because Chitta is basically raw intelligence. The absolute intelligence. Not intellect, not smartness, but the ultimate software. This is present in all of us. Okay, an example. Our body functions. We breathe, we digest, we do all of these things without us actually being consciously knowing about it. Do you think you're telling your body, hey, breathe, hey, digest? No, it just functions because of this absolute intelligence. And this intelligence is basically the same structure of intelligence there is in creation. Well, I have no means to prove that, but just follow with me. Follow along with me. So this intelligence that makes us breathe, that converts every food cell into part of our body, it just happens. So it's the same it's the same intelligence that's been functioning throughout the evolutionary process that made us who we are right now. And this intelligence is present in us. It's present in us. The only thing is we are so unconscious of it. We are so oblivious about it. But if we just switch something, turn it on, actually experience it, this intelligence, we would technically have the power to create in our hands. I know that's kind of a lot to unpack or kind of a lot to conceptualize or experience, but again, introductory. So think of it this way. The reason why we really can't access our Chitta or this absolute intelligence is a lot of things. But some of these things include our Ahankara, our identity, because our identity is somehow really limited and we're so preoccupied by, whose team are we rooting for, how we look on Instagram, or, all the things that we have and acquire. We're so preoccupied with all of those things. When we realize to actually drop it for once and face Chitta in front of us, face it for what it is, then maybe we can harness that power to create. So yes, you guys, Chitta is the ultimate intelligence that's been present ever since creation has started. And we have it. We all have it. It's just a matter of being conscious of it working. And one day when we are conscious of it working within us, for us, then maybe we can harness that power. So powerful, you guys. Again, I know it's a lot. Maybe unpacking it will require more episodes. But for now, guys, I just want to say this intelligence that's within us, that we are so oblivious about, hopefully one day we get to experience it and harness the power that there is in Chitta to create. 4 parts of the mind, guys. I hope that had more clarity for those who thought this is just some Sanskrit words, it's hard to grasp. It's actually really logical and kind of makes sense. And the more we soak ourselves into it, the more we will know, the more we will experience, the more we will expand, the more we will realize that we are so puny. But until then, you guys, I hope this was helpful to all of you. Until next time, bye!